As of March 10th of 2024, there are currently 45 volcanoes which are actively erupting around the planet. One of these volcanoes which has been erupting at a heightened rate during much of the last 3 weeks is Mexico's towering Popocatepetl volcano. 70 kilometers southeast of Mexico City, this more than 17,000 foot tall stratovolcano has been near continuously erupting since 1994, largely producing Vulcanian and sometimes Strombolian explosions. However, since around February 20th, Popocatepetl has been producing taller and more voluminous ash columns that have deposited darker, more finely grained ash than is typical. And now, here are this week's top volcano-related news stories. In Alaska, an unusually strong earthquake swarm occurred at the Makushin volcano, which lies on an island home to the largest city in the Aleutians. Meanwhile, in Colombia, the designated decade volcano known as Galeras, which nearly 500,000 people live in close proximity to, produced an increased number of earthquakes. And, while a volcanic eruption was ongoing in the Galapagos Islands, new unrest began at another shield volcano a continent away. This new activity occurred at Reunion Island's Piton de la Fournaise volcano beneath its summit crater. There, at between 1.5 and 2 kilometers depth, there has been an increase in seismic activity ever since February 28th. While the preceding 13 days only averaged 0.2 earthquakes a day, the following week averaged 1.9 earthquakes a day. This figure continued to increase and between March 5th and March 7th averaged 9 earthquakes a day. Since these quakes are occurring at the exact known depth of Piton de la Fournaise's magma chamber, my interpretation is that they are being triggered by the influx of new molten rock into it. This magma has pushed up the overlying ground, which has been detected since February 15th. It may now only be a few days to weeks before the pressure in this magma chamber reaches such a high level that it sends magma upwards via an intrusion. While such an intrusion is not guaranteed to result in a volcanic eruption, at Piton de la Fournaise such intrusions tend to result in an eruption about 2/3 of the time. Piton de la Fournaise during the last 25 years has averaged an eruption about once every 10 months. Meanwhile, in Alaska, 16 miles west of the town of Unalaska, the Makushin volcano produced its strongest earthquake swarm in 3.5 years. This earthquake swarm began at 5:14 p.m. local time on March 4th, striking 1 to 6 miles southeast and east of its summit Caldera. 7 earthquakes rapidly occurred in the first 5 minutes, with 12 more earthquakes occurring over the next 7 hours. Almost all of these earthquakes occurred along a fairly obvious northwest to southeast trend, but only involved incredibly low magnitude earthquakes which are too small for people to feel, ranging from magnitudes -0.52 to 1.2. While these earthquakes technically could have been volcanic in origin, their declining intensity after the strongest earthquake occurred suggests what was witnessed was merely a simple tectonic aftershock sequence. And if we overlay the known faults on this volcano, we can see that the earthquakes perfectly paralleled a specific fault line. As a result, in my opinion, I am not too concerned about the seemingly tectonic sequence at the Makushin volcano. Heading towards the southern hemisphere, 8.5 kilometers west of the major city of Pasto in Colombia is the more than 14,000 foot high Galeras volcano, which is currently at an alert level of yellow. This alert level has been maintained since its last eruption ended in 2014, as the volcano truly has continuously produced elevated scientific readings in the decades since. Well, one further increase in activity occurred between February 27th and March 4th as measured by an increase in the magnitude and number of earthquakes which struck. These struck at between 1 and 4 kilometers depth and occurred alongside minor gas emissions from its fumarole fields. My interpretation is that a minor change has occurred due to increased heat transferring into its hydrothermal system. This suggests that despite the odds of an imminent eruption still being low in my opinion, there is now an increased chance of a phreatic eruption unexpectedly occurring from Galeras' summit crater. Here is a quick list of all the world's volcanoes which are currently erupting. Additionally, here are some volcanoes showing signs of unrest which are not erupting as of the recording of this video on March 9th of 2024. As a final note, I would like to thank my new patron Jorma Naimi for supporting this channel.